Hi, thanks for checking out this video. So in this video, I'm just going to be talking about just the idea of taking on partners or working with others when trying to run your own business. It's something that I have a bit of experience with, as in approaching others and being approached for partnerships. I'll talk about just some of the things to consider, the pros and the cons in my opinion for partnerships, and just if you're considering taking on a partner, what should you be looking out for. And yeah, so feel free to let me know in the comments below if there's anything that stands out, if you have any questions, or yeah, just feel free to connect with me there. So my name is Jeremy McDonald. Let me introduce myself. I'm an entrepreneur since the age of 16. That means I've been running my own company, or I've had companies that I've managed or been a part of for the past 20 years. In that time, I've been approached for partnerships and I've reached out to others for partnerships as well. And it's interesting, I have not to this point really been a part of what I believe has been a truly mutual partnership, and that's for a few reasons, I think. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to talk about. So the context in which I'm sharing this video is, so there are many types of partnerships, meaning if you have an idea, you join with someone, you can create you can form a partnership. It's a type of business that you can register. So apart from registering as a sole proprietor, you can have a partnership, or you can have an LLC, which is a limited liability company. And each comes with its own benefit or disadvantage. The most risk is presented for the sole proprietor because that ties it to the individual. Partnership may have things to consider, as in both parties or multiple parties will be owners, so certain considerations would need to be made there. And with an LLC, that has a higher cost in terms of initial registration, and you'll have things to prepare, like audited financial statements each year and things like that. It's not the scope of this video, but I thought I'd mention it just in case you are not aware of the differences. So my experience with partnership, or the earliest memory I can think of, is when I was building my first company and we had gotten to a certain point. We were growing in terms of numbers, we were growing in terms of sales, we were recognized by one of the top distributors in the country, and we started being on the radar of other companies as well, and we were approached by a company for them to essentially acquire us. that was a very interesting time for me, because I don't think I fully understood what was happening, but I remember the conversation and what would have happened. What was being offered at the time was for us to essentially be taken up by that company, and for us to essentially direct all our customers to that company. Now, when it was first offered to me, I wasn't for it. I didn't understand it at the time. I saw more cons than pros, and so I didn't take it seriously when it was offered. And the next point, I remember being offered a partnership. Well, I call it a partnership, but now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably not. Was when I was having some challenges with my company. I spoke to someone and they offered me an opportunity to come and work for them, and what they would be doing is essentially servicing my customers or acquiring my customers. I get a set salary from them, and they essentially again would just absorb my business. That definitely didn't seem like a mutual partnership to me, because sure, the benefit of having a regular salary was great, but what I saw was the potential for my customers to grow, and then they would become that company's customers, and there was no conversation about like profit sharing or anything like that. I felt like I would have been just an employee and not an owner or a true partner, so I shied away from that partnership. On the flip side, I've offered partnership to small businesses or entrepreneurs as well. So I remember, working with a software developer, he had an excellent system that he had developed, worked with it for a number of years. He was growing at the time, and I offered to partner in terms of him on the technical side, me on the business side, and we would just approach customers and build a brand and a business all across the island and possibly across the region. He was hesitant at the time. He never, he wasn't interested in it, and what ended up happening for me is that I actually bought the product from him, sold it to customers to kind of show him the potential of the product, and the partnership still didn't materialize, right? So I took that, what I got from that conversation, what I learned, or I noticed that he was concerned primarily about risk and control. So he wasn't very open to the fact that someone else will be able to make decisions in his company. Someone else will be having to, oversee or learn the secrets to how the application is being developed. So what he saw was a lot of risk, which I can understand. And that brings me to the point of just talking about the things to consider when entering a partnership. Now, partnerships can be an extremely good thing, and they're informal partnerships that you can form as you run your own company. So if you run a type of business that is a complement to another business, you can arrange a partnership where you send customers to them, they send to you, and it's kind of a symbiotic relationship, win-win. That's one type of partnership. There are partnerships where there's a true integration as to the businesses, and you can actually take on somebody who fills a gap that you would have. So it's actually a strategy that I've used in the past, where since my emphasis has always been business, I look to persons who are on the technical side or development side, or they make something or they do something. So one of the first things you want to consider is, are there any benefits? What do you stand to gain by forming that partnership? And so though you may have something to gain, the person who you're partnering with need to have something to gain as well. Now, I don't agree that both parties need to benefit in the same way at the start, because it depends on where you both are. If one company is small and the other is bigger, the larger company may not benefit as much as the smaller one, but over time, as the smaller one grows, then the levels go up. So you want to consider what the true benefit is. You also want to consider the true cost of the partnership. What is it costing? Is it costing you anything to partner with that person or that company? Are you having to do more, or are you using more resources to partner? Do you have to do referrals or fill out anything as a result of that partnership? Something to consider. And what are the risks? As I would have said before, is partnering with that person putting your existing company or customers at risk? Would this person now take your idea, form a company of their own? Which honestly, my personal opinion on that is that there are no new ideas. It's really about the execution of the idea. So there's more than one fast food company, there's more than one shipping company, there's more than one bank. All can be profitable in the same space, because ultimately when you look at unless you have a specific set of customers that are limited, so it's not like you're selling like luxury cars where maybe you have a smaller base of customers to work with. If it is that you are the typical entrepreneur, usually you have thousands, if not millions, of potential customers. So if somebody steals your idea and you are able to maintain the the secret sauce, so to speak, then the idea is fine. You just focus on your execution, and that's actually always been my focus. So I used to share my business ideas openly. I used to share my strategies openly because I was concerned about the execution. I wasn't worried if somebody else had the idea. So that was what I wanted to share with you today. I know this one was a little bit on the long side, but let me know if you have any questions. Maybe I can do a follow-up video. Yeah, because there are more things to kind of talk about in this area, but I did promise to follow up on this point based on the video I did yesterday. If you haven't seen that before, check it out. I'll link it below, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.